Yo, it's looking like UFC 244 may still be on. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more fighting. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing and fighting. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Use my link below. Sign up for ESPN Plus. I'm an affiliate working with ESPN Plus and Disney. If you buy pay-per-view, the UFC 244 from me, using my link, it helps the channel. If you subscribe to ESPN Plus using my link, once again, it helps the channel, and I appreciate you guys. Now, some very interesting findings and, the latest developments with UFC 244. A lot of people were bugged out because, a good fight was potentially in jeopardy, and I'm not going to go into the beginning. I already did a video about that, but just a quick recap. Nate Diaz randomly, the other day, he posted that people are trying to, frame him. I'm not on steroids. Y'all are on steroids. They want me to keep quiet, but I'm not. Fuck that. I'm not going to keep quiet, and I'm not going to. He's supposed to fight November 2nd, UFC 244 main event, Jorge Masvidal, for the BMF Bad Motherfucker title. Two of the rawest guys with momentum, talkers and everything. Main event. And he said he's not going. He said they're trying to stain up his name and make him look bad. He don't have to cheat, and he ain't going out like that. He said, I'm not a cheater. I don't know what they're claiming that. They claim that he had elevated levels of something in his system, and he's like, man, fuck that. I'm a vegan. I don't even eat meat, so it's not like I had some contaminated meat. I don't know what they're talking about, but obviously they on some bullshit, and until I get my proper respect, I'm not going to fight, because you're not going to treat me, I'm just paraphrasing now, basically you're not going to treat me like a criminal. I know throughout my career I haven't done nothing wrong, and I ain't had to take no shortcuts and no methods to use performance enhancing drugs or increase my output. So I'm not going to fight him, even though they want me to deal with it later. Nate Diaz is like, fuck that. You're not going to have me looking like a cheater, and then I fight him, and then when I win, I don't get my credit because y'all on some bullshit. So, people were mistakenly reporting that this fight was canceled. They're like, oh, shit, Nate Diaz is over, failed drug test, ha, ha, ha. And we'll talk about it. A lot of DAZN fans that I seen were rejoicing at this, on my channel, because I'm an ESPN affiliate, so it helps my channel. So I've been promoting it. And if you notice on my channel, I said that November 2nd, since UFC 244 main event was supposed to happen, and then Canelo Kovalev, I vehemently, and still feel this way, I feel like the more unique, interesting fight to me, this is my personal opinion, has always been Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal over Canelo versus Kovalev. Listen, I've already expressed my thoughts on Canelo Kovalev, and it's funny to see how petty people are on this YouTube platform. Let me just be very clear. I never said I was not watching Canelo Kovalev or boycotting it or some other fuck shit bullshit that people were rejoicing when they thought UFC 244 was canceled. I never said I was not watching it. I said if it came down to it, real time, I would be watching UFC 244. So when this news broke that UFC 244 was in peril and in danger of being canceled, and or people were reporting that it was canceled, failed drug tests and all this bullshit, people were happy and like, oh, now you're going to watch Canelo Kovalev? But again, if you're going to quote me accurately. I never said I wasn't going to watch. I have a boxing channel. I cover fighting. I'm telling you, the more compelling, intriguing fight has always been Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. I like that. I like where they're at. I feel I know how Canelo Kovalev will play out. So my priority was UFC 244. And, this is rare. It's rare that if there's good boxing on and a good UFC fight, would prioritize UFC. So that's that. But guess what? surprise, surprise, motherfucker, it looks like the fight's back on. Or it never technically left, so it's not really back on. But a lot of people were falsely reporting that it was canceled. And I told you, if you go watch my video, I never said it was canceled because it was so much up in the air. There was no official statements. And this is why you guys got to get comfortable and be cautious who you get your information from in this UFC and in this boxing game in the YouTube land, because there's a lot of people that want to do this, and it's a great platform with YouTube, but a lot of people aren't in the know, and they just hit the record button and get all the facts wrong and stuff like that. Me, I never heard nothing official from the UFC, from Dana White, nothing like that, so I never went around saying that the UFC 244 main event was getting canceled. That's a lot of people. So again, you got to listen and check where you get your information for. So it hasn't been officially confirmed, but you know, people like senior writers and stuff like Brett Okamoto, he said breaking, you know, here's a little tweet. I don't know if you guys can see this. You know, it says, Brett Okamoto says, breaking, Nate Diaz is eligible to compete at UFC 244. USADA has ruled he has not committed an anti-doping violation. Elevated levels of SARMs was traced to a contaminated, organic, vegan, plant-based daily multivitamin, right? And from what I'm hearing, the UFC has pretty much released a similar statement. So Nate Diaz has been absolved of any wrongdoing or any cheating. Furthermore, they have had people weigh in. Whatever he allegedly had in his system, they said it's not anything that would increase your ability, like a performance-enhancing drug. So whatever his multivitamin was, because he's a vegan, some plant-based vitamin, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of cross-contamination and stuff, but it's not through Nate Diaz cheating, which, once again, a lot of people jump to conclusions and say, aha, you know, are you going to watch Canelo Kovalev now? Like they treat this like this is some kind of game or contest or whatever. It's really not that serious to me. But if you listen to my video where I broke the news and read Nate Diaz's tweet addressing the situation, I told you, you know, Nate Diaz, he represents the same place as me, NorCal, Northern California, and he's a West Coast gangster. You know, shout out to the West Coast G's, shout out to the West Coast gangsters. He doesn't come across, and, you know, I'm not the end all be all, but he was one of the main people who outed guys in the organization being on stuff. So it didn't really make sense to me that he would be caught up in some bullshit. Plus he's a vegan, so it's not like Canelo with the clenbuterol where he could say, oh, I was in Mexico and I ate the tainted meat. So the whole thing sounded fishy, and there were a lot of people that owe Nate Diaz an apology. They were incriminating him. They were, you know, celebrating and saying, aha, you cheat, and, you know, putting needle emojis and shit on his pictures. And now what? You don't got nothing to say. But me, again, check my past work. When I did the video about that, I never incriminated because something seemed fishy. It didn't even seem right. You know, like I said, Nate Diaz is like all these motherfuckers on steroids. You know, he does his triathlons. He don't even really have a fighting style, you know, that's unexplained. You know, some dudes have that, like, I'm not going to call out names, but trust me, I see some dudes in the UFC and they're big as fuck and they don't even look natural. You know what I'm saying? Let's just leave it at that. They don't even look natural. Nate Diaz, you can account for everything he does. He's tough. He's from Stockton. He does the triathlons and, you know, swims and boxes. So that represents why he fights how he fights and has stamina, and Stockton slap your ass up. So I'm waiting for official confirmation from UFC, but to me this is good. This is great news. UFC 244, a big event, you know, bringing the year to a close, and it would be a shame to see some bullshit, you know, interject and have a fight like this canceled. And the funny thing is, I got to give props to Jorge Masvidal. If you watch my first video where I talked about Nate Diaz's tweet and him talking about what he's being accused of and saying it's some bullshit and they're trying to set me up, they don't want to see me winning. Jorge Masvidal actually tweeted, so that's why I'm giving credit to that man from 305 from Miami. Jorge Masvidal, he tweeted, he says, "You're not the #1 BMF bad motherfucker because that's me, but you are a bad motherfucker. And one thing I can vouch for is that you clean. So I'll see you next week. You know, this has to get cleared up because I know you're not out here just, you know, petted up and cheating and stuff." So shout out to Jorge Masvidal because he didn't even believe that Nate Diaz was dirty. So I look for an official confirmation at the time of recording this video from the UFC, but it looks like the fight should still be on, unless maybe for some reason Nate Diaz just feels some type of way and he's like, man, fuck y'all, you know. But he had a whole training camp, you know, he can get a paycheck, he can get a lot of respect in a win versus Jorge Masvidal. So it looks like the fight should go on. But again, I'm not the final person that makes the decision. Is more so Nate Diaz. They just give the man of his apology so we can get this fight cracking. That's how I feel. Anyway, I'm in Reno. A lot of boxing on tonight. I will keep you guys updated with the official announcement. Subscribe to the channel. And, you know, to the haters, it's funny because they always jump to conclusions. Old media jumps to conclusions. They try to convict people and with no information. They spread false information saying UFC 244 is canceled and Canelo Kovalev is the way bigger fight and ha ha ha. And now look at y'all. If you like what I'm doing, hit the subscribe button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.